too, but like luckily I just read the book like this week, and I read the second book, so I'm hoping I'm not gonna get too confused between the two books.
She has got this. She's already reading the rest of the books in the series.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Hey, and we're live.
All right. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to this unique episode of the Cozy Mystery Club Live. Angela, the woman we love so much, is sick, very sick with a very sore throat. And so Tara and I are here to help and be co-hosts. And anytime Angela wants to chime in, she can.
I mean, as I go to talk and I can't, I will say very little because who wants to listen to this? I'm just so appreciative of these two women. I mean, seriously, they have been members of the book club for such a long time, and I messaged them both very short notice. They said yes. They'd already read the books, and I know I sound sick, so I'm not gonna be like hugs, but I really just want to hug them because I'm so appreciative to them. So if you would like to introduce yourselves so people know where to find you because you are so awesome, I'm just going to kick off that this month's book is Tea Treachery, and they are going to be discussing it, and I will be monitoring all the comments and typing because I can do that.
Right, you get to type a little more today.
So I am leaving this discussion in their very capable hands, and I adore them, and I can't wait to listen to what they thought about the book. So
Thank you, Angela.
I feel so bad.
Well, some of you have
progress to
seen me
this is
before. I'm Colleen, and my Instagram is I Like Old Books 1213, and I post about cozy mysteries and all sorts of other books. And I was a teacher as well as I have some acting experience, so I got it. I'm totally ready, and I can't wait to talk to Tara. Tara, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Tara. I'm Crystal T Knits on Instagram and on YouTube. I have a knitting podcast on there. I'm a knitwear designer. So, and I just love cozy mysteries. I can read them all day long.
I love following you on Instagram, Tara. Everything you make is so beautiful. I have no talent in craft, and so I'm just like stunned by all the projects that you do. They're really beautiful. So yes, check out Crystal T Knits.
Thank you. I'm not good at sitting still and watching TV, so I gotta do something.
Oh wow, that is awesome. So yeah, that's our info. So why don't we start talking about the book? Well, I guess first of all, I just want to know, did you like it, Tara?
Yeah, I loved it. In fact, I'm already on the third one.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I got lucky. I got the advanced reader copy of it. So
very nice.
Sorry.
That's a
the camera is like weird. I'm going backward. I don't know.
Oh no.
I love the cover of the first book. I unfortunately have it on digital copies only, but that cover is gorgeous.
Oh my god.
There it is.
Yeah, I posted it today and on Instagram, and like a bunch of the comments were, I love that cover. I love that.
It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. Yeah, it just makes me want to go there so badly. Like, can I just dive in to that location?
Yeah, and then reading about it, I was like, I really wish I could go on vacation over there. It's so gorgeous.
Yes, I wish.
Minus all the murders.
Yeah, right. Take away the murders, and it sounds like just this perfect spot. Absolutely gorgeous, by the sea, delicious treats. It's perfect. So that's pretty high recommendation then, that you're already on book 3.
Yeah, I just couldn't put it down. I really just enjoyed the character, especially the grandmother. My grandmother raised me, so I was soft spot for grandmothers. So she reminded me a lot of mine. So I was all into her getting her granddaughter in trouble and everything. So that's how my grandmother was.
Oh, that's awesome. And actually, I've heard from a couple of people that Aunt Rose. Wait, no, Grandma Rose. Grandma Rose.
Yes. They're all named after flowers.
Yes. Reminded them of an elderly person in their life, somebody that is fun and that they love. So that's really cool. And I think you're absolutely right. The characters really were one of the standouts, I think, of this.
Yeah.
The setting, as we've kind of already mentioned, the setting.
Everything was just well written in it.
Yeah, yes. Oh my gosh. And then I think the characters just really they had enough quirkiness to be interesting and charming, but they weren't, grating or annoying. And yeah.
Usually I hate when the author, she keeps like repeating herself over and over again. Like there was one book I loved the whole series, but then they kept saying my mother's inner voice was always, oh, she'd be proud of me that I was nice to someone. And it was constant every chapter. I'm just like, okay, we got it. I mean, they did a little bit with Bernie with the writing thing, but other than that, I can't find any other faults in the book. I liked it.
Yeah, you're right. It didn't seem too repetitive with phrases or anything like that. Oh no, and Sandoval 7 is saying that didn't like the grandmother till halfway in, which I could appreciate.
Really?
But I mean, she was a little bit sassy and definitely in the beginning, she was so blunt with Bernie. She was kind of pushy, I guess, to Lily, too. Yeah. So I could respect that. I could see that.
I love how she walks in the room for the during the breakfast, and she just sits there, and then she's going to Edna. Oh yeah, I want tea, and she's like, yeah, get it yourself. And she's like, I don't work for you, Grandma. And she's like, yes, you do. She's like, you don't pay me. Yes, you do. You work, yeah.
Mm-hmm. The back and forth between Edna and Rose was pretty funny. I like how that was a continuing thing. They had little moments throughout where they were being sassy to each other.
And then she quit, and then she's like, "Oh, I didn't really quit."
Yeah.
Funny. Like honestly, when I first read the book, I thought that they lived there for like ever, the family, and that the granddaughter moved back. And then later on, when they said that, oh, she just moved there 5 years ago, I was in shock. I was like, it felt like they were established in the community and everything, the way she was fighting with the guy about rezoning and everything.
Mm-hmm. But they're actually kind of newcomers. Yeah, that was interesting. Oh, and Lou G is saying that Bernie kind of got on her nerves.
That's the one thing I was, yeah. The whole, like, she kept changing her mind with the book. I was just like, okay, enough with the book. We get it. You're an author. You can't make up your mind, but just go on. Let's go get to the murder.
Yeah. I was listening to the audiobook often with my daughter and my husband actually sometimes. And he would actually commented like, I don't think her book is going very well. It didn't seem like it was really
at the same point in book 2.
Yeah.
I don't think this book's getting written. I really don't.
I don't know how that's gonna go. It's but she did. Yeah. Texas teacher is saying she was fine at the end of the story. Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. I kind of got used to her, I guess. I'm curious, and Ranson Reeds is kind of bringing this up too, about what everybody thought about some of the romances that were being suggested in the book. So, Simon and
I knew Matt right off going after Bernie.
Right. What did you think about? I mean, and try not to give us any spoilers since you've read a couple other books. What did you think, in this first one about the characters of Simon and Matt and as like potential romantic figures?
I liked Simon a lot for Lily. Mm-hmm. I really did. But I kept saying, oh, maybe there's something shady going to happen. Because I always have like that behind in my back of my mind, like what's going on? He seems too good to be true. He just fell in her lap,
Yeah.
But I like that he didn't do anything bad and he was a good guy.
Yeah.
And that again, Matt too, they kind of had a little shade on him as well. But I was glad that he ended up being good too.
Yeah. Simon was so helpful too. Like he would just offer to help.
Yeah, a little too helpful. You're like, suspicious.
And that's funny because I liked him and I was like totally cool with him. I didn't like how Bernie was kind of matchmaking. And my daughter and I would kind of roll our eyes at her like trying to push romance on everybody. But I did like him and I did not suspect him. But my husband and maybe my daughter did suspect him and think that he was going to be, part of the murderer issues. And then I was suspicious of Matt. I didn't think that he seemed, I didn't understand why he was being nice, and because of the connections with, what was going, his dad and everything. So I was nervous about him.
I agree with Lady Gizmo about the 2 love interests. Yeah, I thought they were trying to throw, but I had a little in the back of my mind. I'm like, he keeps asking about Bernie.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
There's something there. I was like, and I think it's funny. She was just so rude and mean to him, and he's still chasing after her.
Yeah. Yeah. I was worried about that because I really don't like love triangles. So I totally know what you mean, Lady Gizmo, and I was relieved that it didn't go that way. And yeah, like towards the endish of the book, you really saw how Bernie and Matt were kind of like butting heads, but then also clearly there was some sparks. So
yeah, I love when she's like, "Oh, he's not a murderer? Okay, I like him."
right.
She's like, "Switch on."
One of the main criteria for a man.
Yeah. As long as you don't kill me, I'm good.
Okay, so those were the love interests, Rose, Bernie, and it sounds like everybody has, mixed feelings about some of those. What about Lily? I don't know that I've seen a lot of comments about Lily yet.
I'm not seeing any comments except for what Angela has. I don't have my YouTube. I'm having problems with my computer.
Okay.
So it's my first time ever using this. I'm sorry if I'm not reporting to anyone's live streams. I'm sorry, everyone.
That's fine.
So we're doing a great job. I just want to jump in and say that.
Thank you.
You guys are adorable.
What do you think, Tara? Did you like Lily, our main character?
Yes, I liked her a lot.
Yeah.
I liked the whole story behind why she came to help the grandmother out. And I love how they opened up the tea shop and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that drove me a little crazy was that kitchen. Like, you couldn't have too many people in the kitchen. It was always overcrowded.
And pets.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she would just keep coming in, Bernadette, and she's like, "I'm working. Do you mind?" I said, "Oh, no, I don't mind." And she'll just start eating. You're like, you can't even stand here. You're in the way of the waitresses. They're like working. Like, let them work.
Yeah.
And she was just completely oblivious to everything. And the grandma would come in oblivious. It was hysterical. In both places, they were like that too. But at least the other one had a bigger kitchen.
Right. Yeah. I know. Poor Lily's used to working like in a big time kitchen, and now she's like cats and dogs running around her kitchen.
I was waiting for the dog to chase after the cat, though.
Yeah,
that would have been hysterical. Like, all of a sudden, he just gets a little feisty, and the dog is like, "See ya."
Yeah, as someone was making comments about the health department showing up.
Yeah,
I think that
definitely would have.
Your concern.
It was on the website, so it's okay.
But yeah, she's a talented chef, and some people are talking about how she was a very reluctant sleuth. I kind of like it when the main character is a reluctant sleuth. They're not naturally like nosy and pushy. It's more when they feel they have to, help someone.
And then she falls into it.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is that she didn't want to do it, and then she's the one to solve the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that she figured it out before her showdown with the person?
I think it was like right before.
Okay.
Like, she had it in the back. I noticed where she always has things in the back of her mind, and it doesn't click, and it clicks right before it happens. And then she's like, "Oh no, here we go."
Yeah. So with that, since we're kind of mentioning that showdown, I'm curious about the suspects and, who people were suspicious of, who were the suspects that really caught your eye, because I'm going to admit, I got stumped, my daughter got stumped, and that doesn't always happen because we're pretty good sleuths, but we were stumped. But then when the reveal happened, I was like, "Oh, yeah, that totally makes sense." But I was too distracted by my judgment of Matt. So
yeah,
who did you think it was?
I really didn't have a particular person I thought of, but I had a feeling. I didn't think it was Simon. Like, it was like just like in the back of my mind saying maybe Simon, but I don't want it to be him, and I don't think it's him. But
Mm.
they were just planting that seed in our minds. But then I was between Matt and the developers, like his father, and then the congressman or whatever he was.
Mm.
I got really bad memory, everyone. Forgive me.
That
But the guy that actually did it, I was like between, like, I thought it was one of them. And I like how they were trying to say the mob ties and everything. It always ends up to the mob. Like,
right.
I don't know where the mob comes in, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
Especially in Cape Cod, that's just normal.
and seeing the comments here, it looks like we had a variety of people who were suspicious of different characters. Miriam solved it early on. Good job. Cooking
Yes.
These didn't trust Roy from the get-go.
Oh, she's okay.
Jack Ford's wife was a suspect. Yeah.
Yeah, that was weird.
Mm.
That was really bizarre.
She was.
I planted the note just for the hell of it. I was like,
yeah, that was very strange that she
That
ended
was
up
so
being the note leaver. Like she is a weird person.
yeah, I didn't know what to even say about that. I was just like, what? Like, I guess another red herring, but I was just like, huh?
Right, but it was
Yeah.
a red herring because didn't we find out about it really like after we figured?
Yeah, and it was just because I felt like it. No reason.
Well,
It
yikes.
was like scaring your grandma. It's good.
But I know what you mean, Lady Gizmo, that like Roy wasn't in the story very much. What popped into my head though was that I should have been thinking, you know, when he changes his mind, when he was talking with Matt Goodwill's dad and saying he didn't know about the rezoning anymore, that
Yeah.
would have been like a red flag that he's suddenly changing his mind about this thing that he said he was going to do. So, but for whatever reason, I didn't latch on to that, but that was like a big clue, you know?
Yeah, like Matt's father was really nasty to him.
Mm.
You know, he was just like going after him, saying, "No, you can't have the property." No, and apparently he has a big, fancy, smancy author that has all this money. Why wouldn't you want your son to take it off your hands then? You know, wait a little while. He's gonna get. He's good for it. He's a famous author. I don't understand that. He's just a nasty person.
Yeah, there were actually quite
Yeah.
a kind of mean people. Him,
Yeah.
Jack Ford's wife.
The cop. I'm still waiting for them. They said something that he was not in on it, but it sounded like he was getting something under the table, kinda. They implied.
Mhm.
But then nothing happened, and he's still the cop and everything. I was
Yes,
like,
yes.
I didn't get that part.
Detective Williams, like it seemed like he ignored evidence. Like
Yeah.
he knew that Roy had like walking sticks or whatever, but he ignored that evidence and didn't even, you know, go there. Luigi, yeah, like there's corruption there. I asked my daughter, since she didn't feel up to talking here tonight, you know, what do you want me to say about your opinion about the book? And she said, I didn't like Detective Williams. That was like her main thing. She really didn't like him. And
How old's your daughter?
she's 8. And yeah, she did not like him and how dishonest he seemed and how he didn't really seem to be trying to solve the case or didn't really care about, you know, what was really going on. Yeah, I agree, Miriam. I really hope they dig deeper into the police corruption, and I hope he gets cut out.
Yeah. But I still like it sounds like he's getting something underneath the table, but he's not getting it. Like,
yeah.
That is just I wonder if later on in the books, all of a sudden you could find out, yeah, he really was corrupt.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't corrupt. He was just not wanting to do his job and didn't like these two people.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's be a new storyline later on.
Texas teacher, yes. I when I was 8, I was already reading Agatha Christie books by myself. So
I love that.
It's an expectation of mystery loving in my family. No.
See, my school, they had these horrible books that we were forced to read, and I didn't like reading until we got to AP English with Jane Austen. So I missed all this reading and everything, and I've been reading ever since I had the AP English. But I just felt like my whole youth, everyone's like, oh, I read one. I I didn't do that because I hated the books they made us read at school. They didn't do Shakespeare, they didn't do Dickens. It was just these awful modern books that I was like, just disgusting, horrible people in the books. So
Now,
if they would have given mystery, it would have been good.
Now you can read the books you want to read.
Yes.
Oh, Jess says maybe Detective Williams can have a redemption arc.
Ooh, maybe. That'd be good.
I did end up starting to like the female cop.
Yeah, but she was very gruff though still.
Right.
Like she warmed up, but then she's like, no, yeah, I'm not warming up. Psych. It's not happening. Mm-mm.
But at least, you did feel like she wanted to find the truth,
Yeah.
Smart.
And she's kind of on their side. Yeah, I love Eclair too. In fact, Amanda, you need to make Eclairs.
Claire, that was such a cute name. And
Yes.
Robert the Bruce, right? Robert the Bruce. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God, I loved it. Just the idea of that dog looking like an Eclair. I want to see this dog. I just had I don't think she was a poodle, but I had a poodle in my head. I had like a dye job with the line going down the back.
And this appeals to dog lovers and cat lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Good, because you've got your bases covered then. Oh yeah, it sounds like everybody really liked the pets. Yeah, Redmond was very no nonsense, Amy Redmond. But she, I hope she's in more. I'm wondering if she'll end up, being okay. This isn't too much of a spoiler. Is she in book 2?
Who's in book 2? I didn't hear the
Amy Redmond, the detective.
Yes.
Yay.
She is.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes. They're the main characters are all still there. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Sometimes like you just randomly lose a character that you really got connected to, and you're like, wait, what happened to them? I need to know. So that's good to know.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, it just started like a couple months after this book. So it's very close. I don't know how I feel about, sometimes I like it when they're like right after the first book, the second book starts. And sometimes I like it when a little bit more time happens, So you see a little bit more of the characters' interaction with each other, because it's still the summer and Simon's still there in the second one. So that makes me happy, because I like Simon.
Okay, good. Yes, I do too. And Sandoval 7 says, I hope the correct detective is not in book 2. Is he?
Yeah. It's basically the same relationship going on. Okay. That's why I keep saying that it has to be an arc later on in the series why he feels so corrupt. Like maybe it's going to happen. Or maybe she's just going to trump him and be like, yeah, I'm the head detective. You're out.
Okay.
I'm waiting for that.
Okay. So so that dynamic is still there. All
yeah.
Right. Awesome.
I like when they do the first book, they don't answer some questions. And then later on in the books, all of a sudden the whole story is the question that was not answered in the first book. So maybe that's one of them. I don't know.
Okay. Well, good to know. Thank you, everybody, for encouraging us.
Yes. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to read the comments. I'm not good at that part.
No, you are doing great. And it's nice to have your insider knowledge of food.
Of course, there's only one book, but
right. But that's okay. So we talked about some of the characters. The setting, some of the suspects that people had. What else stuck out to you in this book?
I keep thinking about that rolling pin right now. I know.
Somebody mentioned that in the comments.
Yeah, the whole scene with the rolling pin, and then Amanda Itty Bitty Delights, that as I'm reading this, I guess because the cover and everything, and Eclair the dog, I kept thinking of her charms, and she made the scones. She even made scones, and I saw a picture of her in her Instagram. Like, I want scones now. I really, I'm not a baker. I mean, I used to bake. I don't have time for it now, but I kept saying, I want to buy a scone pan really badly now.
Well, I posted my scones today, and they're not pretty, and I just used a mix, and they're hideous. They're just these little blobs. But yeah, I mean, I do feel like this book just got you so hungry.
Yeah, in the mood for a high tea. I wish they used to have a tea shop by me and they closed during COVID. And I wish there was another one around here. I have to start looking to see if I know there's one like about an hour away. Hopefully that didn't close too. But it's just made me want a high tea so badly reading this. It just sounds so elegant.
Yeah, yeah. And my daughter was just like, I want scones, so that's why I them with this mix that we have at the bookstore where I work. And they taste really good.
Yeah.
Even if they don't look that good. Cooking with My Cozies mentioned how they talked about the history behind afternoon tea. And that is totally something else I had meant to bring up, that I really liked all the details about tea and different kinds of tea and steeping tea and what might be served at an afternoon tea. I loved all those details. They were just fun to hear. They got you in the mood. I thought they were well done.
Yeah, I love when you read a book. Yeah, it's a cozy mystery, but then you learn stuff. Like I remember the tea shop mysteries. I learned all about Charleston and everything. I want to go there. And someone would say something, I'd be like, oh yeah, just drop this information. They're like, how do you know this? I'm like, cozy mysteries. That's how. So you learn so much about these different areas that you don't visit, but you feel like you know that you visit them because you've read about them. And I just love learning about history of things and everything. I enjoyed that a lot. I especially like the interesting, the creamy Earl Grey. I'm not an Earl Grey drinker, but that sounded really good because they kept bringing that up throughout the whole book. And I'm just like, I want to try a caramel Earl Grey now.
Yeah, right. I know, and it really just got you in the mood for those.
Yes.
And tea, which is just, I mean, perfect. That's definitely, I think, a strength of this series. You've already mentioned that you have continued with the series. Yes. I definitely want to continue with the series too. And my daughter does too, which is always, high praise because she's pretty cutthroat about what constitutes a good cozy mystery. But it was thumbs up for us both. And I've already seen a couple people saying, I loved this, series or this book so much. But feel free to mention in the comments whether you plan on continuing with this series or whether you would continue with this series or not, because that would be fun to find out.
The second book is as good as the first. And what I love about this club is that it's always the first in a series because I'm OCD and I have to read the first. I have to read everything in order. So I just started doing reader reviews and getting arcs from Kensington. And I'm just like, I'm so excited I got them, but I'm like, now I got to read the first one in the series, Sure. So I think the club, I've been trying not to because I want to read it when the club starts and everything. But I just love that I don't have to worry about my OCD-ness. That's why I was able to join this book club where other book clubs, I just couldn't even begin with. Then I would go crazy. Oh, I got to read like 10 books to get to the book that they're reading,
Yeah, totally.
That's why I like this a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and it's very welcoming then too, because anybody can join at any time because they know they're reading the first book in this series. I'm seeing lots of positives, lots of people saying, I've already started the second one. I've borrowed the second one. So it sounds like a lot of people are on the same page about wanting to continue with the series, which, I mean, that's always great.
Yes. I think there's only been like one or two that I was just like, yeah, I can't read it. I can't read any more of this. I think one was like, actually it was funny because not this March, last March, that book series, I was curious about the second one, but I just didn't like it at all. So when we had to read this March, it was again going to be like a Scottish Irish one. I was reserved about reading. I was like, oh God. And I ended up loving it.
Yeah.
I thought maybe that's why I didn't like it. It was just, I just didn't like that book.
Right. And that's okay because there are so many cozy mystery series.
Yes.
I'm already stressed about all the ones I want to read. It would be even more stressful if I liked everyone.
Yeah, I've been actually like, as everyone posts pictures lately, especially Angela, I've actually put a list on my Goodreads. So I have a list of to be read cozies. That's the first in every series. Then I have the ones that I have been reading and the next one up on that series if I haven't finished it. So I could keep track. I've gotten so many. I think I started out with like 20 and now I don't even know what number I'm at. It's like crazy. I think for the to be read ones, it's in like the 200s. That's
I'm
never gonna read them, but I keep putting them in there.
I know, I get it. It's just they all sound so appealing.
Yes, and the covers are so pretty, and you're like, oh, that looks interesting.
And I think I saw Regina mention that this specific author, Vicki Delany, is a good one. And some people are mentioning
Yeah, a
some
lot of people are
other
saying that.
series.
Has she written any other books? Because in the cover of the third one, they just talk about these books. So has she written anything else? Anyone?
Yeah, if you go to her website, Vicki Delany, you'll see all the series listed at the top.
Okay.
She's got a Shakespeare, maybe bookshop series. Someone can chime in who knows more. Also, and then I did not know that she's also Eva Gates. I totally missed that. And Eva Gates writes Vicki Delany writes the Lighthouse Library Mysteries. That take place at a library that's in a lighthouse, which my daughter and I have actually also started those. And I did not know she was the same person. This and then the Lighthouse Library are the only ones I've read by her. But it seems like a lot of people in the comments are saying that she's got lots of other good books. So I'm definitely going to have to read more by her because I did like her writing style a lot.
Yeah, a lot of people were putting her up there with the one that does the library mysteries that we're reading in the Tuesdays.
Jen
McKenna.
Jen
Right? McKinley, that's it. I tell you, I have a horrible memory.
You're doing great. And Angela says she's that Vicki Delany is also super sweet.
Nice.
Her at Malice Domestics. That's always nice. Yeah, when people
Christmas series she writes too.
Oh, year-round Christmas. Oh, thanks, guys.
That one.
That sounds awesome.
Actually, I think I saw a cover to a Christmas. I wonder if that's the same. If that was her. I saw one recently.
Yeah, that is actually ringing a bell. Yeah. And a couple people are chiming in that she's Canadian, and I have been
finding she's nice.
That I often like cozy mysteries that are written by Canadians. For some of the ones that I really stick with, really like the writing are Canadians. Like Sarah Fox, I think is Canadian. Ginger Bolton, who writes the Deputy Donut Mysteries, which are my daughter's favorite. She at least lives in Canada right now. So it's Canada really knows how to write those cozy mysteries.
I'm bad. I don't really pay attention where the authors are from.
Sure.
Like I know, what do you call it? Like my two favorites, I know they're down in the South.
Okay.
Laura Childs and Krista Davis. I like, not really South. She's like in the Washington area.
Oh, okay.
But like I really don't really know where anyone else is unless they write about where they come from. Because I notice their books are always set in an area that they live in.
Right.
She is one of her series. The other series is in New Orleans, which I love too, the scrapbooking series. Which, by the way, does anyone know if that was canceled? Because I haven't seen a new one from that for a while. That was a good one from Laura Child.
If anybody knows, please tell.
I think it's been 2018 was the last one.
And Angela posted Vicki Delany's website in the comments if anybody wants to.
Okay, great.
That way you can, make sure you can see all the series that she writes. Gosh, it's amazing to think how talented some of these writers are, that they can write
so many series. I don't understand it.
And have them be good too. Yeah. I agree that that Vicki Delany is good for detail-oriented people because she sets a tone in her books or this one at least, and the scenes. And I totally.
Elementary she read. Okay, I remember reading about that. That was one of my to be read.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Oh, Chloe, yeah.
I hope everybody's looking at the comments because people are.
Hey, Luigi.
With
Laura Child too. That was actually who started me on cozy mysteries was Laura Child. Okay. So that's why those two mystery series have like a certain place in my heart from her. I have to get into the Eggs in Purgatory one, but the scrapbooking and the tea shop. Oh my God, I love those two so much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something about tea and murder just goes together so well.
Yeah, they got tea shops, libraries and bookshops. Those are the
Yep.
most, and some of them coffee shops lately I've been noticing, and bakeries. Those are like
Yeah.
the main core cozy places to be.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
And I always go like, why don't I have these places by me? It's like when you watch Food Network, they have all these fancy restaurants. Like, they're not by me. We go to a bakery, it's eclairs and cannolis. And then you got regular cupcakes. I don't have any of this fancy smancy stuff. Why? And I live by New York City. You think I would have something over here. It makes me want them.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, Lady Gizmo is asking, what did you think about Bernie blurting out that she's starting a detective agency?
No, I don't think she said that. I think she was writing her characters to become a detective agency. I think that's what it was.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but like she was giving me a headache. She kept changing her plot every 5 minutes. I'm just like,
yeah.
at one point, I don't know which book it was, but she was like, seriously, just write a plan down, because it was every minute we had a different thing or something happened to them. Like, oh, I'm going to put that in my book. Did anything surprise you in this book? I think. Anything surprised me? So I keep opening this when I'm playing with it here.
Well, this isn't I was surprised by the murderer, even though
Yeah.
I couldn't have been. It made total sense. But I don't think anything really surprised me.
Either. I liked though, like I love how she would go to the B&B. She'd work there in the morning, and she's like, "Oh, down to my next job." And they're both right next to each other. They're both successful businesses, and she's in charge of both of them. That I thought was really funny. Like I'm lucky if I make cupcakes, and then she's doing 2 businesses she's cooking for all day long, and then she's staying afterwards baking and everything. Usually when they have the baking mysteries, they start in the morning. And then she's doing after, so it was interesting that she has to run both of them and everything, and how she compensates for it.
She is very busy. I hope maybe she gets some help at some point. Oh yeah, Ransom reads Rose being from Iowa first. Yeah. I meant to say one thing that kind of made me laugh was the way Lily made some like random comments about Rose being British. Now, and they were contradictory because at one point, I think when she was talking to police or something, she was like, well, she's English. She's very passionate. And I was like, I don't think that being passionate is a stereotype that we have for
they're very reserved, I always think of,
right.
And
then
especially when they work in the manor and everything, you can't say this, you can't do that.
Right. So that was kind of funny. I was like, I don't know if that makes sense. But that was one of the only things that I was like, no.
And also like the whole I have to be by the sea because I'm British. I never thought of that. I mean, I know there's a lot. See, they always say they want to go to the sea, and to Brighton and all that, but I never really put the 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I was
more like Tea. What I would think of.
She specifically says she's from Yorkshire.
Yeah, maybe that's
so
by the
sea. I was trying to think, like, is Yorkshire by the sea? I know parts of Yorkshire are on like the moors because I've been to like the Bronte's house in Haworth, and it was amazing. And I don't think it was by the sea, but maybe parts of Yorkshire are by the sea. But I guess England is a small country, so maybe you don't have to walk too far to be by the sea.
Yeah, maybe. I always wanted to go to England. In fact, I read one book. It was Jane Austen. I think it was Jane Austen Ruined My Life. And I remember it was like the Secret Society of Jane Austen. And I was reading all this. I thought it was real. And I was like, I want to go to England. I want to go follow. I want to find the secrets and everything. And then when I found it wasn't real, I was like, really? Like, they had me so going. I was like, I thought all these places really existed in England.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I was so depressed. I think her house is still there, maybe. But like the other things, I think it was all false. I was like, they were good. They had me so badly in this. I was like, oh.
Jane Austen's house. Yeah, it's really cool. It was one of my life highlights was going to Jane Austen's house and the Bronte's house.
Oh my God.
England is an island. Yes, it is. England is an island. So not too far to the sea. There you go.
Maybe that's why I like to see.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about Carla Powers, the mayor.
Oh, that was weird with her. That she just like blurted everything out to them. That was just like, I just didn't like. You're a mayor. You should be a little bit more reserved. You know, you're used to hiding stuff. Your politics. And it's just, oh yeah, told you my whole life story in one instance. And then they find out that it's like, it's all, oh, she does this all the time. She falls in love, falls out of love, but then she's talking about it.
Yeah.
Like if she does this all the time, then why is she talking about it?
But apparently she's an okay mayor.
Yeah. She got reelected, so yay.
Oh, Angela's like, I love Jane Austen. Yeah, she is awesome. But yeah, I feel like there are some very suspicious characters
Yeah.
and not that likable characters still remaining. I'm curious whether any of them are going to feature in future books. You already mentioned that Detective Williams is still there. But yeah, I'm curious,
As of the second book, I don't know what's gonna happen later on. It was just the core characters were still in it.
Okay.
But this is interesting about these books though. They're part of a community, they're part of a town, but we never see the town. Usually in cozies, you got the whole Stars Hollow feel and everything. Everyone's butting into everyone's business and everything. And she's into the business, like trying to say, yeah, I don't want rezoning. She's very active like that. But you don't hear them talking to anyone.
Interesting.
Whatever happened in their facilities, that's it. They don't know what's going on, except when they went to the baseball game. Other than that, they don't leave that property. So that's very different than most cozies.
Right, because some cozies have that kind of small town community where you get the sense of community more. And you meet more people and everything. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I guess this is a little more isolated, which I do sometimes like seeing more community members. But yeah, cooking with my cozies, that's a good point, because there's always guests coming to the B&B.
So they get always that
the opportunity for new suspects and things like that. Oh, people are reading Emma or rereading Emma.
That's my favorite.
I reread Emma last year. I love Emma.
I was so upset with the last movie they made. They made fun of it, I felt like.
Oh, I loved it.
You did? I was so depressed. I was like the one that they made, the guy that was in Elementary. He played the Mr. Knightley in the movie before that. That one was so good. I was so excited about this one. The costumes that were gorgeous in this new one.
Yes.
But I was like, oh, that's my favorite book of theirs. It really is. I used to like Mansfield Park the best, but Emma's. I love her.
Yeah. There's a retirement home. That's true. I feel like the retirement home.
Yeah, the retirement home.
Like the big journey they took in this book.
Yeah, and then her walking, and then she's so frail and feeble, and she's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not," and she's conning the whole town. Yeah. I was like, that was just random.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, a couple of people have mentioned this, and Lady Gizmo was asking just now with Simon had said he was only going to be there for a couple months and then he was going to go back to the UK. But so I don't think in this, I've only read this book. I don't think he said anything for sure about if he was going to stay or not, unless I missed something, which is
he didn't say anything about it, and they're still saying he might go away.
Okay.
But I'm just like,
the second one.
I think he wants to stay for her personally.
Okay.
He doesn't sound like he's good. He never ever says anything. He sounds like he's pretty much sticking up roots there now. The only thing he does is when he talks about his parents,
Right.
And that's nice that if she got together with him, it'd be great because she's got someone to help cook. He just pitches in.
He does. I wonder if that's one of the reasons that the second book happens shortly after.
Yeah, maybe because they can't get rid of him yet.
Because they don't want to get rid of him, and they don't want it to seem unnatural that it's been like a year later and he's still there, but we didn't get to see like
what month is this starting? Was this in March or May that this one started?
I don't remember. I know it was early summerish.
Yeah, because I feel like they said this is a couple months after the second book, but it still feels like it's I would say it's June it's set in. So I'm thinking maybe it started in April or something like that. Maybe. They still say at the end of the summer he's gonna leave. that she keeps saying that.
Right.
It's just like the time frame is a little bit like this is a really, really long months of summer then. You
Right.
know, if it's like 2 months later and they're still and they didn't get to the even summer part, it feels like.
Right. Yeah. I
That
get
must be hard for an author having to like, you have to plan out all the characters, you have to get their backstory, then you got to do a timing and everything. It's must be like crazy. They must have like the crime walls or something like they do in the police. They have it for the characters and everything, trying to keep track of everyone.
Oh yeah. Bye, Miriam. Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, no, it's crazy to have to keep track of all those details.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like everybody is pretty curious about Simon and is he going to stay? What's going to go on with that? So I guess Simon won us over because he can garden and he can cook. And we have our priorities right.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill is saying something about the work visa.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And he looks good in overalls.
I like the leather jacket.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of funny how he was just like perfect guy.
What's weird in my head, I don't have the British accent for him. They keep saying he's British, but because of the whole leather jacket thing and everything, I'm not picturing him as British.
Oh.
I just think it's roughly good-looking guy that's kind of rough on the edges and everything.
Interesting.
I guess it could be Darcy. Darcy was rough on the edges too, but I don't know. I just don't picture him as British, but they keep saying he's British.
Right. And I listened to the audiobook, so the person used a British accent, for him. So I do think of him as British because that's what I heard, in my head.
I like Mia says he needs to Simon need to end up in the secret room.
Oh, we're simple people. We just ask for a man who can cook, garden, and look good in overalls. What?
Yep.
And end up in a secret room.
Oh yeah, yes, Grease too. I used to
God.
love him. He was actually in a movie in Hallmark. He was a butler or something for a butlering school. I was in shock. I was like, oh my God, that's him.
Nice. Lady Gizmo listened to the audio twice. Yeah, I thought the narrator was good for the audio. The only thing that bothered me about the audiobook narrator was that they say Rose is from Yorkshire, but the audiobook narrator did not have a Yorkshire British accent. And it sounds like, she wasn't some like fancy rich person. So it sounds like she should have had like a more traditional Yorkshire accent. Like think of like the servants in Downton Abbey. Like her voice should have been more like the servants, like Anna in Downton Abbey, not like. So that was just one little thing that bothered me. But she had a nice voice and she had like a good personality.
Yeah, I've actually that's why I don't listen to the audiobooks. Like when I read, I have the voice in my head.
Sure.
And I feel like they're going to change the voice, but I'm kind of curious about, like, I've never ever used an audiobook. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe one day I'll use one, but it's just like, I got the voices in my head and everything of how I think they would sound.
Totally.
I don't know if I'd be disappointed or not if I listened to one.
Yeah. And it can vary really by the narrator, and their voice and whether you like their voice or if their voice grates on you. It can definitely make a difference. And even just the type of book it is. Like I can listen to cozy mysteries on audio pretty well, but there's certain types of books that I can't focus on with an audiobook. So
a lot of people are talking about the secret room. I've seen a couple of things.
Yeah,
I loved that room. I loved it. But they were sneaking in there. The only thing that was annoying was that she had to always take everything off the shelf to get in there, and they had to place it back. I just like, it's like, how are you not getting caught? You're taking all that time to put it back. You only have a brief window when no one's in front of the door.
It was like just creating even more work for her. Like, of course.
It's worth it so I could sneak up on everyone and know what's going on.
Right.
Like I would put some fake, like glue them together and put some fake linen on that shelf. So when you go like, you don't have to do anything.
There we go. But yes, oh yeah, one of the benefits is that if you're trying an audiobook is that you can multitask while listening.
Yeah. That's the thing. I hate reading and knitting. So I always feel like I gotta look at TV when I'm knitting. And I mean I can do both, but when I read, I like to just engulf myself in that book. I don't like to do anything else. I don't like anyone talking to me. I'm like, leave me alone. I need quiet.
Yeah.
I drive my family crazy because of that. But I was like, it would be nice to be able to sit there knitting.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people are agreeing with me that the narrator can really influence if you like the audiobook or not. Oh yeah, and tip from Lady Val, you can adjust the speed of the audiobooks. You
Really?
can slow them down, you can speed them up, which
Weird.
can be really nice. Like sometimes people have a very slow pace, the narrators do, and it can bother you, but then you can speed it up and all of a sudden it's
Make them sound like the chipmunks.
right. You can. Some people are really hardcore about it. But yeah.
I'll finish the book in an hour.
Now people are giving some mentions about some cozy book narrators that are good. So yeah, let us know if there's some audiobook versions of cozies that you like because of the narrator. I've mentioned it already, but my daughter and I really love the Deputy Donut mystery series by Ginger Bolton, and the audiobook narrator is really good. Her name is Emily Durante, and her voice makes you want to eat donuts, which is good since it takes place in a shop.
You know what I liked a lot was the Jen McKinley books. I want to read her donut shop or cupcake shop ones.
Cupcake,
But what I loved was before we started doing the buddy reads, I just read the book that had the crossover from her 3 series. Now I never read the other series from her.
Okay.
And I was reading it and I'm like, oh my God, I love these characters. They're so in depth. And why are they introducing all these people? And then I found out they were part of these other books. And that was one series I wanted to do because when you're saying donuts, I picture the front cover of that one. I mean, it wasn't donuts, but it just brings that to mind, that one cover that I think is Sprinkled for Murder.
Yeah.
So I like when they bring in like other people from the other mysteries and bring like a crossover series. I love that.
Oh, that is interesting.
I don't see a lot of series doing that. That was really interesting when that happened.
I don't know if law enforcement ever apologized to Rose.
I don't think so.
For suspecting her and all that. No,
they never do. They're mad that you are on their territory, and that you're better at it than they are. Very rarely the cops, when they start out mean, that they will be like, "Oh, thank you so much." No,
and
personally,
I really think Amy Redmond needed to apologize. I mean, obviously Detective Williams is the worst.
Williams needed to,
but Amy Redmond is just trying to do her job, and Rose did act kind of weird in the beginning, where she was pretending to be more feeble than she really was, and. Like I can understand why Amy.
That's how they get away with stuff. My grandma used to do that all the time. She's like, "Oh, the moment I turned 16, she's like, oh, you have to drive me," and then she'd be like running around the house. I'd be like, "Yeah, I have to drive you, really?" They know how to play the cards,
There you go. That's awesome. Maybe that's why she reminds some people of elderly relatives they've known too.
I love when old people are like conniving. It just makes me so happy. I just loved it, especially when she would just come in the room and just sit down. I'm just like, expect to be waited on. When she used to be the one waiting on everyone, and they're like, no, you are not the lady of the manor. You might want to be, but you're not. No help.
Oh, Lou G is comparing Rose to Jane Marple, pretending to be more muddle-headed.
Yeah.
She really is. Interesting.
Yes.
I
haven't read one of those books in a long time.
I'm always reading an Agatha Christie. Like every month I do with because the official Agatha Christie social media accounts, they a yearly challenge, and they have like every month. So Agatha Christie is my first mystery love. So I really love rereading those. I highly recommend. They're really fun.
Yeah, I used to read them a long time ago, and then I got into the real cozies.
Yeah.
And then I've been having a hard time branching out. Like there's other books that I want to read. And I just like, nope, the cozy.
But you have
I have a crush on Agatha Christie. I like Angela.
You have
I
to
had to show you because you were talking about it. I was like, of course.
What'd you say, Angela?
I just said, of course. You were talking about her. I was like, I had to show my shirt.
Yay. Yeah, I think you have to read whatever your heart is telling you to read.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's cozy, sometimes it's romance, sometimes it's something serious. Whatever, you feel like reading, that's what you should read.
Yeah, on my to read list is Crazy Rich Asians because I loved that movie so much.
Cool. I
keep watching it. Everyone's so fed up of watching this movie. I just loved everything about it. I got to read that book, see if it's the same thing. It was just so good.
I've read the second book in that series. I
Really?
mean, it was very like over the top, ridiculous, like funny. So yeah, it was good. It was very clever.
Yeah. What I thought was interesting, I used to read a lot of The Confessions of a Shopaholic.
Oh,
and I used to identify with her. And I used to work in Bloomingdale's as a waitress, and I was a shopaholic. And I would say the same things as her. But then once I stopped working there and I had my kids and everything, I went back to read one of them, and I couldn't get into it. And I used to devour her books, and it's just so sad. I was like, this is ridiculous. Why would someone do something like that? And I'm like, wait, I used to do that. What am I talking about? It's amazing how you change and how reading changes with you.
Yeah, I agree. Different times of your life, you might appreciate, different things. Yeah. That's so interesting. Yeah, Angela says, I actually bought this pullover because one of the authors I interviewed during Malice is all about Agatha. So she wore it during the interview. That's sweet. Which author was that, Angela? I'm curious. I'd like to know. Oh, and Elle's reminding us that Angela's Colleen Cambridge. Well, yeah, right, because her series has Agatha in it. So that makes sense. Yeah, I enjoyed the first book in her series.
What series is that one?
Murder at Malloway Manor.
That sounds familiar.
I think it's Manor or Hall. Murder at Malloway Hall, and it takes place like at Agatha's house with her second husband. Although actually, though, I think that house was made up. I don't think that house really existed. But it's still
Malloway Hall.
Mallowan Hall. Murder at Mallowan Hall. That Mallowan Hall.
Yeah. Okay. Putting that on my list.
Yeah, it was fun. Agatha Christie isn't like the hugest part of it, but it's still fun to have her there.
Yeah, I used to read a series that was Jane Austen characters, but they were a murder mystery one. And it was so long ago. I don't remember what they were.
There's a Jane Austen series called by Stephanie Barron that has Jane Austen as the person solving the mystery.
No, it was the actual characters in like Pride and Prejudice.
Oh.
And then they would go, and then the second one was Sense and Sensibility, but it was the same characters from the Pride and Prejudice, and they somehow interacted with the Sense and Sensibility people, and they had to solve the crime or something. So it was always Elizabeth and Darcy solving the crime, but they went through all 6. I don't know if they even made it through all 6 books. They made it through a couple of the books. I think it was maybe 4 or 5.
Well, another
I liked that one a lot. I should find out what happened.
Mystery for Austen lovers is it's by Claudia Gray, and it's called The Murder of Mr. Wickham. And that
I saw someone's reading that on Instagram. I want to read that.
So good. Yay. Oh, yay. Other people have read it. And it's coming up. I mean, it's really fun because it combines Jane Austen characters together.
I love that. So, library loan, bookstore purchase. Where did you get the copy of the book? I owned the first one. The second one I borrowed from the library. How long did it take you to read the whole book? I'm gonna say 3 or 4 days for both books.
Nice.
I have all these questions that I like prepared in advance. I was clicking in to get organized, and all of a sudden they just started popping up.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Where?
See, I can see that. I can't see the Instagram thing. I see whatever she's doing.
Oh, okay. And I'm just
So you're in charge of YouTube. I'm in charge of what she's doing.
yeah, that's fine.
Didn't mean to.
You're like, where is she getting this from?
Comments. But yeah, everybody who add that Murder of Mr. Wickham to your TBR, and it seems like a lot of people have liked it. And a lot of people want to keep reading this series too, which is exciting.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to start. I'm going to start the third one tonight, probably. I liked it. And then I'm sad it's done. I have to wait another year for the next one to come out. I hope there's a next one. I never realized, like, all the series I've been reading, they come out the next one. I didn't realize they stopped. But, like, a couple of, like, I think it was the January read. There's just 3 books, and then it stopped. I think they got canceled. I didn't realize that. I was waiting for the next one. I was so depressed when I didn't find it. And then Kate Young said that the Marjorie Brown series, I call it the Sassy series, that got canceled. I was so depressed. I was like, how did that one get canceled? It was so good. And again, that was a book club read too.
I know that is the sad thing about.
And Joanne Flu keeps going. I don't get it. Oh, Angela's holding up Murder She Knit. I can't wait to read that one.
Oh, that's right. That next month?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, we have like a span of like a couple of months that they're books I'm really super excited with, that I've been either wanting or that has something that do with I'm interested in.
Right.
Yeah, the next is the Kinley is Cloaked with Dagger too.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
The Hat Shop mystery from Jenna McKinley. So I'm very interested in that one. And then the September one I'm interested in because I used to be part of this book club, and it had like 3 or 4 authors on Facebook, and they would give us books and everything. We would be advertising their books for people to read.
Okay.
And those 4 authors, there was Daryl Wood Gerber, Krista Davis, and I forgot who the other 2 were. I know the book series, but she was one of them. The Sprinkle of Murder, her original series, is one of them that I used to read. So I got all excited when that was part of the book club. I was like, yes, I've been wanting to read it.
Thanks, everybody. Some people are signing out, but
well,
thank you.
Bye, everyone.
I know. I just wanted to say, for everyone who's joined tonight, thank you so much. And thank you guys for everything. So, was there anything else about the mystery itself that you were surprised about, the big reveal?
It was definitely intense. I mean,
yeah,
that was a scary scene when he like went for her, and
the rope and then the rolling pin and everything. I just the things that were used in that scene come to mind so vividly.
Yeah. And I liked that it wasn't that, she took action. She took action, that rolling pin, and like got the scene moving. I thought that was really cool too.
I love how when she leaves, like, she's screaming. You never hear the screaming in the books. And I could just picture her going like crazy woman screaming like a fire's hitting her. Yeah. So I thought that was really interesting that they wrote that in there. But this book had such imagery. Like I usually read a book and I don't carry stuff away, but I was like the scones, eclairs, tea shop, the rolling, like everything just jumped out at you with her writing. It was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, not a damsel in distress. And even if she was a reluctant sleuth, she still did really well for herself when it came to an intense moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I liked how everyone like congregated outside. Rose and Bernie showed up, and Simon's motorcycle. It was good. It was exciting.
I want to know though, Matt and Simon. Like, did they say what they were doing, or they just became chums, or were they up? They were up to something. Because all of a sudden they were always meeting each other. It was just odd. The 2 new guys just meeting each other constantly.
I don't know. I missed that.
Yeah, and they said a couple times, all of a sudden, here comes Simon and Matt together. Oh, they just drove in together. They said it a couple of times. And it was maybe just a throwaway thing, like sometimes they put in.
Sure.
But I was like, what were they up to that they were, unless they were like trying to discuss on which girl they wanted to date? I don't know. But it was just like, what was going on with those two? Like even at the end, Simon and him were hanging out at his house, I think.
Oh.
You know, it was just very like what made me a little suspicious of the two of them. They were always having these secret meetings.
And that makes sense. Yeah, a couple other people were suspicious of both of them together too. So yeah. Oh,
Mama, yeah.
Talking about girls. That's an end sentence. Oh yeah, the part where Rose calls Lily and is like, someone's at my window. Jess is mentioning that was really freaky. Yeah, and really freaky in real life.
And then she comes, like she doesn't call the cops right. She comes out there like there's someone at the window. Why would you come out there? You know? I know she wanted to make sure the grandma's in the house, and you're calling get the cops there first. Don't go out there by yourself. You don't know what they have in their hands.
Yeah, that was scary. But and then we already talked about this, but that was such a scary part, and then it just turns out to be the crazy Janet Ward being terrible for fun.
I lost my husband. I gotta do something now. I can't torment him. Let me go torment them.
Oh my gosh.
It's just really weird. And I think it's funny with the whole thing, they're always worried about the business sacrificing because the murder happens on their property and everything. Yeah. They usually don't say that they're worried about the business being sacrificed. This one, it was a key thing worrying about that, which would make sense though. But it was very upfront, that part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that can be a common theme in some cozies where, like, excuse me, the business is kind of in danger.
And they don't bring it up. You know, it's just there. This one, they brought it up all the time, and the cops are like, "Tough, deal with it."
Wait, okay. It says she needs a dog. Oh, the grandma needs.
Yeah,
Lily.
That's not going to help you whatsoever.
That's funny. Well, Tara, do you have anything else you wanted to talk about?
No. Can't even talk. I'm just so appreciative of you guys stepping up and doing this. You guys are going to have the best cozy care packages sent your way. As soon as I can send something that's germ-free, so there's no spreading anything your way, because you deserve it. I love listening to you guys. And like, I think this is the first time I got to actually read and respond to comments in real time.
Right.
I'm sorry I couldn't respond to more. I just have I don't even know what this thing is called, StreamYard on there. I was trying to do it on my tablet, but it was like I'd be looking down to read on my tablet. I felt like I'm missing. Sorry if I couldn't comment on anything.
She's now my person who can tell you that when I say it's hard to juggle, it's true, because I always just read the comments after the fact. I can never do it live, so you're my impeachable witness of yes, she's telling the truth.
That's why I was always nervous about doing lives. I'm like also afraid I'm going to say something stupid. You can't edit live.
No, that's the other thing too. You're like sounding like this. You can't edit this. This is real. I was coughing and
It's not faking, y'all.
No, this is unedited, unfiltered. Yeah, I mean, I must sound like a goose or something to someone in the hallway. Like, what is that animal in there?
You're doing really well, though.
Yeah,
I can make out everything you're saying.
This is a first. This is the most I've been able to talk in like a week and a half. So progress. But I'm talking to you, so it's worth it, because you guys totally deserve all of the applause, all of the shout outs, all of the love. I posted in the comments your Instagram handles so people can click on that and be brought to your pages. But I'm going to include all your information over on Twitter. I'm going to link it in the box here, because you guys totally you saved this book discussion live stream. You guys are like, bow down, all this love to you. So everyone in the comments, I'm applauding. You deserve all the applause. Max apparently agrees. He was just growling like, yeah. So
I should give you a hug right now. I feel so bad.
Well, thanks to everybody who joined too.
Yes, thank you.
Lots of great chat, comments, and everything. So
I was so much fun to read this stuff live for a change because I never get to do that.
yeah.
You guys are just so amazing, and I'm just so appreciative of you. I mean, seriously, like, I'm gonna have to think of something extra special.
But
Well,
thank you for making this book club. I love it. I can't tell you how excited I am. It's definitely got me back into reading. For a while there, I think I was reading like 4 books a year, and now I'm up to like 40.
I was like,
That's awesome.
Tara,
Yeah, so like thank you for doing this, and it helps my OCD by having the first of every book here.
As
Yeah.
soon as you started saying that, I was like, yes.
Yeah,
It's a
right.
brilliant idea.
It validates your work.
Yes.
No, yeah, I agree. It's a beautiful place. So thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for joining. And do we want to say goodbye or?
I mean, if there's something else you wanted to mention briefly, that is totally up to you. I just saw some people were saying good night, so I thought I might as well, jump in and say thank you while people are still here. I am just so appreciative of you, and I'm appreciative of the people who are listening to this right now. I know that can't be easy, so I just wanted to give you guys more shout outs and love because you totally deserve it. And so I will post some additional stuff about the book just in case. But next month we have another fun book coming, and I know Colleen's already scheduled for October.
Yay!
And in talks with you to do a podcast episode. Of course, right now this does not sound like podcast material.
No. That's okay.
Have some Italian ice. I always feel like that helps my throat a little bit. It doesn't just like ice cream would or anything. Everyone says warm stuff. I like cold stuff when my voice is bothering me.
I just want to say
Feel better, Angela.
Yeah.
Thank you, and I'm just so appreciative of you guys. Thank you just so much. I mean, you guys have been a part of the book club for such a long time, and stepping up the way you did. I mean, seriously, like, I cannot tell you how happy you guys make my heart and how much it means to me. So just thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
I had a lot of fun, Colleen.
Yeah, Tara,
That was awesome.
fun. I love chatting with you.
I know.
I feel like
No wonder my family reads cozy, so I'm always on Instagram talking to my friends. I'm like, it's just so nice to actually talk in real time to someone.
Fun. Yes.
I feel like I just made a friendship happen.
Yes,
Definitely.
absolutely.
And FYI, clearly they are both coming back. In case that was any doubt in your mind, I love that.
Thank you.
So before this cracks completely and the dog gets mad, he's like, she's only talking and it's not to me. I'm going to say goodnight, but I'm just so appreciative of you guys and just thank you so much. And thank you everyone for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone.